holds meetings about like all different religions.
That's good.
And he's like, and I think some people shouldn't disrespect religion until they get to know more.
100%. You know, this quote, we're a big fan of that. You know, this quote here.
But I think a lot of people do like excuse me.
Yeah, mate.
You have £1 for a bus.
Sorry, mate. I'm sorry.
Like, a lot of people, it's not me being racist, yeah?
Go on.
They're like Muslims are terrorists.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. A lot of people shouldn't say that until you get to know them.
100%.
Like, that's not me being.
No, of course not, bro. This is an open table.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean? A lot of people say that, and then I think anyone could be a terrorist.
Anyone can be a terrorist. Anyone can be a terrorist,
anyone
right?
can be anything.
Because, like, you know, post 9/11, there's been a lot of misconceptions that the media portrayed.
Exactly. Yeah.
To like have like different kind of communities at the next of each other. Therefore, it's easier to govern them and rule them, right? But if you look at this quote here, bro, ignorance leads to fear, fear leads to hate, hate leads to violence. This is the equation, right?
Keep it.
Yeah, you can keep it, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So,
but I'm just gonna explain to you, like a couple of concepts, about the Prophet Muhammad, right? Not concepts about the Prophet Muhammad, but like some things about the Prophet Muhammad. You know, all prophets, they would have lived normal lives, and then they would have become prophets at a certain age. So the Prophet Muhammad became a prophet at the age of 40. Before that, he was a normal human being, right? He lived normal life. He did everything else what the community did. He didn't, do idol worship and stuff like that, or drink alcohol and stuff like that. Just out of his own nature.
Yeah,
right?
he's just a messenger.
He wasn't a messenger then, though.
No.
Yeah, but now he's passed on.
But back then he was just like us.
Yeah, just like us, just a normal guy. Guess what his nickname was? Huh? Guess what his nickname was? Have a guess, bro. Okay. Do you know anybody's nicknames amongst your friends? Like, what would you say, like, with your friends, like, as a nickname?
I just call him brother.
Yeah, like, brother, or maybe like, Smarty, or like, Shorty, Fatty, yeah.
Sometimes,
Right? Or like a steroid guy because he's really hench or something like that.
Yeah, I know.
Right? The Prophet Muhammad's nickname was the trustworthy one.
Was it?
Before he became a prophet.
Because everyone could go to him about anything.
Because the Arabs, they were like a very like tribal people, so they would travel a lot to different places to get deals done and stuff like that. So when people used to travel to, let's say, different countries, they would give the Prophet Muhammad their wealth to make sure that keep it safe, because we don't want anyone to rob it, right? So the Prophet Muhammad would keep it safe, and they would realize by the time they come back that no one took a penny from them, right?
So they know they can trust him.
So they know they could trust him, right? So when he becomes a prophet, right? He told the people, would you believe me if I said that there's an army behind this hill? Would you believe me if I said it? They said, yes, we will, because you're the trustworthy one, right? He told people, I'm a messenger of God, right? He has chosen me to deliver a message, and in the beginning, no one believed him. Why? Because Mecca at the time. I see Mecca now with the people there and all
people around it.
The black box there, right? Back in the day, that used to be filled with like idols, right? With cow idols or sheep idols and stuff like that. They had different names and stuff like that, right? And people used to worship them idols in Mecca. It was like 365 different idols there. So basically, the leaders of Mecca, they basically benefited from people bringing their own idols because they would leave them there. Therefore, they could blackmail people and be like, "Oh, if you disrespect us, we'll kill your God." How pathetic is that, right? That you can't defend, your God can't even defend itself, right? So when the Prophet Muhammad came and he said that there's only one God and you can't see him, right? He's outside this universe. He's independent, all-knowing, all-seeing, right? They were like, well, that's gonna cost our revenue, all our money and stuff like that. You're attacking you say no alcohol, we make loads of money from alcohol. You say no prostitution, we make so much money from prostitution. No smoking, we make money from that, right? So when Prophet Muhammad brought all these like different kinds of rules, they were like, he's attacking our money. That's why they didn't, believe him there and then. They knew you were speaking the truth. Does that make sense? They knew you were speaking the truth, but because they worship something else, right? They worship money, right? They didn't know the leaders of Mecca were not stupid. They knew these idols are nothing. But they worship power, they worship money, they worship women. That's why they didn't take his message. But the Prophet Muhammad brought something called the Quran as well. Quran. That's a message that would be given to the Prophet Muhammad in his language, in his lifetime. Jesus would have been given something similar. But the Bible's not it though. I'll explain why. Right? Jesus would be given a book in his language in his lifetime, Jesus spoke a language called Aramaic. It's the sister language of Arabic, right? It's a mixture of Arabic and Hebrew, Aramaic. That was Jesus' language, right? But the oldest manuscripts of the Bible are in Canaan Greek. Does that make sense? Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John wrote in Greek, right? So that revelation that was given to him was lost. It wasn't preserved. That's why the Quran came, basically to re-establish the teachings of Jesus to Moses to Abraham, right? Basically, it's the last and final revelation, and Allah basically, it's a miracle if the Quran is preserved. Because if you look at the past revelations, they didn't last for long; they quickly lost. And Allah says in the Quran, "Indeed, we will be the preservers of this." Right? For 1,500 years, this book has been preserved. Right? Because as Muslims, we memorize it, letter to letter, word for word, by heart.
How long is it?
636 pages, I think.
You have to memorize the whole thing.
Whole thing. You don't have to, but it's a lot of reward if you do. That's why you have kids like the age of 8 who know it by heart.
Is that why you go to mosque to memorize them?
Yeah. 100%.
Because my friend was like, he's Muslim. He's
Yeah.
like, sometimes like in some mosques you can't wait until you memorize.
Yeah. So they go, they memorize it, and then they'll have a test at the end to basically see how good their memory is. If they get everything right, eventually if they get everything right in what they're saying, they get a certificate at the end, and that certificate has a whole chain to the Prophet Muhammad of how these people have passed it on, right? So have you heard about the Swedish Quran burnings? These radicals in Sweden, in Norway as well, like burning Quran. Let them burn every copy. 250 million people on planet Earth know the Quran by heart today. 250 million people using Zoom or WhatsApp. 4 hours, get the whole thing back again. Right back again, because we know it by heart.
Exactly.
Right. So that's why it was never lost.
So they think it affects you.
It doesn't affect it, man. Because this is not this is a beautiful book. The words of it are special.
That couldn't be written by a human. It was like,
say again.
That wasn't like, that was given to you, innit?
Exactly, by the Creator, by Allah, right? And you know what Jesus. You know what the Aramaic word for God is? So in Arabic, the word for God, right, is Allah. Do you know what the Aramaic word, so Jesus' language? You know what the word for God is? Allah.
Is it?
Yeah, not Allah, but Allah. Allah. That's the Aramaic, right? So a lot of people think, oh, Allah, it's India, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia. No. Jesus, this is how Jesus, what it is. Jesus said, don't drink alcohol, don't gamble, right? And he was saying, Allah, Allah, right? Told women to cover their hair, right? You tell me, is that a Muslim or not? That's a Muslim. Do you know what Islam means? What does Islam mean?
Islam.
Have a guess. What does Christianity mean?
A lot of things.
Follower of Christ. Yeah? Buddhism means follower of Buddha. Judaism means follower of Judah, right? Islam means submission to God. Does it mean follower of Muhammad? No. It means submission to God. And a Muslim is somebody who submits their will, like their desires, to God. So let's say I like a girl. Right? I'm interested in this girl, right? And instead of me just like having sex with her there and then, right? Or like getting drunk with her and then taking her, like
ask God.
The system for let's say wanting to have a relationship with a woman in Islam is right. Is I ask the father for her hand, respectfully.
For her hand in marriage.
For her hand in marriage. Even some Italians do this today, right? I ask her for a hand in marriage, and then I give her money to show that I'm serious, right? It's called a dowry, right? I give her like a ring, or I give.
What if he says no?
Who says?
Go against you.
Then I can't.
You can't go against.
I can't go against it, right? Because the father knows the mindset of men. He knows what kind of man this is, right? Women can be, beguiled with how we speak, or what we promise them, right? But a father is the biggest protector of a daughter. So he will want the best interest for a daughter and said, nah, I don't want this to happen. Or like, I don't think he's a good man, etc., etc.
What about when people say Muslims have forced marriages?
That's haram. That's a cultural thing.
Haram.
Yeah, that's haram.
That's what I mean. A lot of people say.
So that marriage there, right? That's not acceptable. And in the court of Allah, It's basically those
No,
people.
I don't believe it. A lot of people just say it's
So that's a misconception.
yeah. No, I'm
what I'm
not saying
saying?
it's true. It's just
You know,
a lot
in
of people-
India, in Pakistan, that kind of stuff happens.
Is it?
In Somalia as well, you know, forced marriages happen, right? But in Islam, the teachings of Islam say a woman has the right to say no. If she says no, that's
Can't
it.
do anything about
Can't
it.
do anything about it. So it protects the woman and it's more honourable. Do you understand? And therefore, those kind of marriages last longer because it's not like a flash and dash, right? It's not like a one night stand. We just abuse her. Once you're bored of her, I go away. It's a commitment.
And then move on to the next one.
Yeah, right. And that's why a lot of women, therefore, get like traumatized. You know, like
And then scared to like
scared to like commit,
and have like a relationship with those two experiencing before.
and that's why they cheat and they end up cheating because they know, oh, he's gonna end up doing that anyway. So that's why Islam promotes a healthy environment for everything.
That's why a lot of people from Islam are with their partners for
Yeah, a long period of time.
And you see people like other people like you're with them for like 10 years and then you cheat with someone else.
Do you know also why? You know, in Islam, we're not allowed to free mix.
Was it?
Yeah. So, for example, if there's like men and women in a room, Islamically, that's not allowed. You shouldn't do that. Let's say, like, it depends on the situation as well, right? So, we're in Asda,
Yeah.
in the market is different, right? In your own house, men will have a room for men, women will have a room for women, right? Because, for example, like, let's say I have a wife. If I taunt her in front of my friends, right? If I show, oh, this is my wife, look how beautiful she is, right? And one of men,
Trying to give it away.
men think differently to women.
Yeah.
Women think that they can be friends with men. But studies have been done on this. Men always think in a sexual perspective about women, right? So then they've, basically there was a study done. They asked like a bunch of women and a bunch of men who are friends. They put them in a scenario and I said like, if your boyfriend broke up, right? Like what would you do, right? And the man, said that, I'm attracted to her, right? Automatically. So we're like, we know the reality of what's happening. Let's not play games. So Islam therefore protects those kind of, prevents those kind of instances happening. Therefore, the woman is for that woman is for me. She's not for nobody else. If that makes sense, right? So those kind of rules are there for a reason, and no other religion implements that. Christianity can free mix. Judaism, like they have some level of not free mixing, right? But they free mix as well, right? So Islam says, the women to wear the hijab.
Oh yeah.
Cover your beauty in front of other men, right? So you're not
At home, it's your.
at home. You do what you want, right? Now, actually, at home, they're supposed to beautify themselves for their men
Like makeup.
with makeup and stuff like that in the home, but not outside, where every other man can see you. Does that make sense? So this is why Islam.
Is that why you wear hijab?
That's why you wear hijab, right?
Like the men?
The men, we have a hijab as well, but it's less than a woman's, right? And it makes sense too, right? Because I don't have breasts and stuff like that. I have pecs. So from the navel to the knee, I can't show this part, right? So like tight leggings or like underpants, right? I can't do that, right? I can show all this region here, yeah. Right? Some there's a difference. There's a difference of opinion. Some even say that even the navel as well, right? But the majority opinion is like the navel to the top, right? So I can show this part, right? I don't have to necessarily wear any kind of clothing, but from this region.
No shorts.
So, for example, Islamically speaking, what I would have to do is cover the knee, like that, yeah, right?
So like long shorts. Yeah.
Long shorts, basically, right? So I'm covering my quads and my hamstrings and stuff like that, right? And that is that's my hijab. That's the man's hijab.
Is that like a lot of Muslims wear the jinn, they wear under skins?
Yeah. They wear skins underneath their
If
shorts.
you have shorts, you have skins on.
They have skins on. Basically, they're trying to cover the legs, right?
That's what I mean. I see it, and then you see like people like just have shorts and then they have like under all the skins.
So and that's just like excellence. And that's just helps you become the best version of yourself. Islam says no alcohol. Alcohol, you might have fun from it, but it's medically speaking, it's bad for your liver. It can give you kidney failure.
What if you drink alcohol?
So it's a sin. You ask God for His forgiveness, right? And you make a promise that you won't do it again, right? And you carry on with your daily life.
A lot of people do it.
Well, say again.
A lot of
Muslims, let's say, will drink, right? So for them, they have to acknowledge what they're doing is wrong.
Like my friend, he vapes all the time. He does some drugs and he's Muslim.
It's haram.
No, I didn't know that because he said if my mum found out,
You know, shame on him, man. That like a non-Muslim is reminding him what you're doing is haram.
I said to her, he said to me, my mum found out I was doing all this. You know,
She flipped.
yeah, he said that. He said she screamed at me. And I said, rightly so.
Rightly so. Rightly so.
And I said, because I said, you're going against your religion.
Yeah.
I said,
100%.
isn't that not haram? He's like, yeah. He's like, and I'm like, you've got to. Because he stopped it at one point. He stopped it for like 4 months.
Okay.
And then his friend helped. Well, not his. I say his friend. He thinks it's his friend. And I said he's just a bad influence on you. He's not your friend. And then he started doing it, so he did it again.
You know the saying of the Prophet Muhammad. You're on the religion. You're on the religion of your friends. Right? So if your friends smoke weed, you're gonna smoke weed. If your friends pray, you'll pray.
I don't do that.
Right.
That's why I just think my friends. I mean, I think you've got a tongue in your head, so you can say no. But a lot of people don't. A lot of my friends are druggies. I'm not gonna lie. I've never touched drugs in my life.
Right.
Ever. I've never. I'm not saying I vape. I don't vape like all the time.
Well, you know. For example, if you have friends like that, it will always tempt.
I'm always tempted.
It's always tempted.
I'm not saying.
You've got a strong mind. You've got a strong mind if you've not taken it so far.
I've not done this. Some of these friends I've been friends with since like primary school. I've never took drugs in my life ever. A lot of them like you pussy. I'm like, you can call me a pussy all you want.
Yeah.
I'm like, but
you want what's best for yourself. Care about your health.
I drink water, like 2 liters of water every day, and then they're out going out drinking every weekend. I'm like, I'd rather stay at home than go out and spend money.
100%.
Why?
So you got a logical mind, my friend.
I just think it's common sense.
It's common sense.
I say that to a lot of them. Like,
so this is what Islam promotes: common sense.
And then he says to me, he goes, I can just stop drugs. I went, no, it's not that simple.
Nah.
I said, he said, well, by the time I'm 20, I'll just stop on. It's not that simple. I said, you think it's that simple, but it ain't.
Have you not seen those people who walk around the streets?
Walk around. Yeah, and I said, you'll be a junkie one day.
Yeah.
I said, you think it's that easy? I said, but look at me. I said, you vape, yeah? I said, we went on Duke of Edinburgh. Yeah, he couldn't. He was like, because he went 2 days without a vape. And I was like, so you can't go 2 days without a vape. And you think we can just
look how pathetic that is.
And then I said, you think we can just put drugs like that?
It's crazy. Shows how weak somebody can be, right? And you know, some talented people as well.
With jokes like that.
You know, you have some people who are like got some amazing genetics, really gifted, athletically, whatever, but they got on the drugs and now they look like sticks. You understand? Look like people who are about to, the wind can blow them over, right? So we say that Islam, that would have been haram. Drugs is haram. Any kind of intoxication, anything that's bad for your body, it's haram, right? So this is what Islam promotes. Right? I want to ask you one question though, yeah? What's your perspective on there be a God? Do you believe that there is a God?
Somewhere, yeah.
Somewhere, right?
I believe that. There's obviously things and always really have a reason.
A reason.
People can do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But I just think.
Do you think there's a purpose for life?
Yeah.
I'll give you an example, right?
Yeah.
It's a reasonable question to ask, right?
Yeah.
Your clothes. What's the purpose of you wearing your clothes today?
Right now?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think if you don't wear clothes, it's a mood.
Yeah. So you don't want to show your nakedness. You want to look aesthetically pleasing, right? You want to keep yourself warm. These are some of the reasons why you wear clothes. So if your clothes, your clothes don't have emotional or mental abilities, right? They don't think, right? They're just inanimate objects, right? If they serve a purpose, how can the human being not have a purpose?
I always think, some people are trying to commit suicide. I'm like, you're here for a reason.
You're here for a reason.
Why would you want to take that away? Like, some people beg for life.
100%.
That's what I mean. And then you're
taking it away.
Who's had a good life? Have a good life.
Do you know why that happens? Why people commit suicide? Because they feel like they've not been taught on how to be grateful for what they have, right?
A lot of people, it's like people who have been given everything too early in life. Or they've been spoiled in life.
Yeah.
So they've had everything and then they're like, oh, there's nothing else for me to have now.
Nailed it on the dot.
Exactly.
Right?
A lot of people are like that.
So. Subhanallah, right? Subhanallah. So Islam then promotes you to be grateful that God has given us everything, right? He's given me look, I've got limbs. Somebody right now. We believe in the afterlife.
So I think that if you're a good human, you go to heaven and there's something for you after. Or if you're bad, you go to hell.
And that makes sense too. We believe that in Islam. We believe in heaven and hell. We believe in a day of judgment
Do you
too.
believe in that afterlife for people who go to hell?
Yeah, we believe that before heaven and hell is decided, that there'll be a day of judgment. So when everything ends in the end, years in the future, when everything ends, there'll be a day of judgment. Everybody that existed from the beginning of time to the end will rise up, body and soul, and God will hold everyone accountable for their actions, right? One by one, right? So your parents, my parents, my if you have children in the future, your future children, your ancestors, everybody, they'll be held accountable, right? And no one will be able to help you on that day, right? No one, it's just between you and God, right? Depending on how you live this life. If they were in criterion with Allah's commandments or God's commandments, right? To accept that He exists, to worship Him, right?
I think nobody has not done something they haven't regretted.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've done something I regret in life. I mean,
So, for example, like if I was a Christian, I'd say, "Oh, don't worry about it. You just die for your sins." Right? That is running away from responsibility. In Islam, we say you've done something wrong. Okay, what?
admit to what you've done wrong.
For example, let's say if you've done something, and you're not in, let's say, a court. Let's say you've done something from your past, right? Don't tell anybody in Islam. We say don't tell people your sins, right? Right. For example, let's say if you've done something though. Let's say I've done something to somebody. Let's say I've stolen something, or let's say I'll give you two examples. Let's say I've drinking alcohol. Let's say I've stolen something. Drinking alcohol is a sin against God because why? It's a commandment of Allah. Don't drink alcohol. If I've stolen something from someone, let's say for example somebody's chain, somebody's watch.
What's the sin against them?
It's a sin against God and them. So I have to ask God's forgiveness
And their forgiveness.
and then I have to repay them. Right? I have to give them back in a way where they whatever they accept it. Right?
Like money,
Or that same thing. If not that same thing, then it's something equal in value of that. And if I don't do that, on the day of judgment, they'll be able to have retribution against me. So this is what Islam's about. You know what, bro? Before you head off, view one of these. It's a beautiful book. It talks about, from a logical perspective, why there has to be a God. This one talks about the Prophet Muhammad, and I'm going to give you a copy of the Quran. Right? And just note when you're reading it, it'll jump from topic to topic. So it's not like a storybook. Right? So if it'll be speaking about one thing, our context. Reason being is because we believe from the Islamic perspective that revelation came in bits and pieces over a period of 23 years, right? Therefore, if it does switch topic, it's because it's a new day's revelation. So let's say if a couple want to know how to get married, then God will have sent verses about marriage. Why the angel gave it to the Prophet Muhammad. This is how you marry. For another day, how to divorce, how to handle business. Just move on to that. So if you do notice, I just quickly switches topic. Don't expect that coming. Just know it's a new day's revelation. It's lovely meeting you. It's okay as well, my friend. Have you got one of these? It's a YouTube channel. You can search that. It's called Rebirth to Islam. Right? And this is a YouTube channel called Merciful Servant. Right? Goes over the basics about Islam. For a bit of fun, pick a card. Blue one, yeah? Turn it over. Have a nice day, my friend. Wherever it's at, you got any questions? More than willing to answer. No. Just do researching, just learning.
Yeah, do research. More research. Take care.
Esquimao de Lena. Esquimao de Lena. Assalamu alaikum. You and them, right? It's about Palestine. For a bit of fun, pick a card. Which one? This one, yeah? Go on, take it. Turn it over. What does it say?
Have those who disbelieve not considered that the heavens and the earth will join the entity and be separated them and made from water every living thing? Then will they not believe?
It's like a little verse from the Quran. It talks about how the universe came into existence. Right. So they talk about the Big Bang, right? The Quran was talking about something similar 1,400 years ago. So you can take that gift from me to you.
Yeah, everything is what's happening now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very important long term.
100%.
They follow every step wise in the Quran, but the
Yeah.
problem is they share where Muslim and they don't take what they copy us and they doing what Allah said. And we don't do half.
100%.
Is this a bookmark? Or just a pod?
100%, sister. 100%. Say again.
Is this a bookmark as well?
It's a bookmark. Gift from me to you. You can use it for your Quran.
Yalla.
Is this like the Quran translation?
Yes, it is.
Oh, you don't need it. You read in Quran in mosque.
Yeah, yeah. Do you speak Arabic as well? Yeah. Inshallah. Learn the Arabic. That's better. Assalamu alaikum.